Welcome back to another deep dive. This is where we take your sources, really dig in, and pull out the most important insights just for you.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're continuing our look at Stephen Covey's, well, it's a landmark book, isn't it? The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
It really is. Foundational stuff.
And if you've ever felt that familiar pressure, where the to-do list just seems to multiply overnight.
Yeah. Or the really big goals, the important ones, they just keep getting nudged to maybe tomorrow.
Exactly. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely in the right place today.
Definitely. So last time, we really focused on laying the groundwork, building character. That was Covey's private victory, right?
Right. Habits 1 and 2. Be proactive.
Taking ownership, yeah. And begin with the end in mind, really defining that personal vision, your values.
So today, we're building right on top of that foundation with the crucial 3rd habit. Put first things first.
And this is where it gets really practical. It's where that vision, those values you figured out meet the day-to-day reality, sometimes the messy reality.
It feels like the bridge, actually. It connects that vision you worked on in habit 2 with the nitty-gritty of execution, how you actually spend your time.
Exactly. It's not just about, better time management tips, although that's part of it.
It's deeper than that.
Much deeper. It's about aligning every choice, every single hour, with what you decided truly matters most, your core values, those long-term goals.
So yeah, if you've ever felt just swamped, overwhelmed, or just frustrated that you're not making progress on the big stuff,
then this deep dive is definitely for you.
Our mission today, then, is pretty clear. We want to understand why put first things first is way more than just organizing your schedule.
Right. It's the practical fulfillment, the doing part of your vision and values.
And we'll explore how it connects that private victory, getting yourself sorted internally, to the public victory, which is about working effectively with other people.
And crucially, how you move beyond just managing time, which sounds a bit passive, doesn't it?
It does.
To actually leading your life, doing it in a principle-centered way. It's like the masterclass in execution, tuning ideas into action.
Okay, let's dive in. The core challenge. Beyond mere discipline.
Right.
So when we think about why we're maybe not hitting our goals, what's the first thing that pops into mind? For a lot of people, myself included sometimes, it's discipline.
Oh, yeah, that inner voice.
Yeah, if I were just more disciplined, if I just had more willpower, well, we blame ourselves.
It's such a common self-assessment. People say, I can't prioritize, or I know my priorities, but I just can't organize around them.
I lack the discipline to stick to it.
Exactly. They focus on the how. How do I force myself? How do I get organized? But Covey makes this really profound point. He says a lack of discipline usually isn't the basic problem.
Okay, so it's a symptom, not the disease.
Precisely. It's often a symptom. The root cause is usually something else.
So if it's not just about gritting your teeth, what is the real issue? What's underneath that feeling that we just need to try harder? Because honestly, we've all tried just trying harder.
And it often doesn't stick, right?
Yeah.
Or it leads to burnout.
Yeah.
Well, the source material puts it really clearly. It says the basic problem is that their priorities have not become deeply planted in their hearts and minds.
Okay.
Essentially, it means you haven't fully internalized habit 2. You haven't truly embraced begin with the end in mind.
So the foundation isn't solid enough yet.
Exactly. If you don't have that deep internal compass, that clear vision of what you really value, what you really want, then self-discipline becomes this constant, exhausting battle.
You're fighting against yourself almost.
You are. You're battling unaligned desires, impulses. You're trying to force yourself towards goals that aren't truly rooted in your core. It's like trying to steer a ship without a rudder in a storm.
Doesn't sound effective.
Not at all. You might recognize intellectually, oh, I should do this quadrant 2 activity, it's important, and you try to muscle through with sheer discipline.
Yep, been there.
But without that principle center, that personal mission driving it, the effort just lacks a sustainable foundation. It feels forced because the why isn't strong enough. It's like, trimming leaves but ignoring the roots of the plant.
Okay, that makes sense. So it really gets to the why behind what we do, not just the what or how. It's about the source, the anchor.
Exactly.
The anchor.
So what happens then if our priorities aren't deeply rooted, if they're anchored to something less stable? What does that look like day to day?
Well, the text explains that if your life is, say, centered on your spouse, your money, your friends, your pleasure, or any extrinsic factor, anything outside yourself,
Okay.
you'll constantly be thrown back into quadrants and 3. You'll just be reacting.
Reacting to what other people want or what seems urgent. Precisely. Reacting to external forces, demands, pressures. Let's quickly define those quadrants again. Quadrant 1 is urgent and important. Crises, deadlines.
The fires you have to put out?
Right. Quadrant 3 is urgent but not important. Interruptions, some meetings, things that feel pressing but don't actually move you forward.
The busy work that screams for attention.
Exactly. And if your center is external, maybe seeking approval, chasing trends, or just immediate pleasure, your decisions will always be swayed by those outside pulls.
Makes sense.
Even if you think you're centered on yourself, like driven by ego or immediate gratification, you'll still just react to the impulse of the moment, whatever feels good or easy right now.
Which probably isn't the important long-term stuff.
Rarely. That often lands you in quadrant 3 at the end. Not urgent, not important. Time wasters, excessive escape. The key point is your willpower alone, your independent will, can't effectively discipline you against your actual center.
So if your anchor is weak or in the wrong place,
Your discipline will drift. It's not anchored to anything solid or consistent. You're like a boat tossed on the waves.
I can definitely relate to that feeling. Chasing something external, getting caught up in the urgent, and then realizing you're way off course from what actually matters to you.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why this idea of a principal center is so powerful. Covey says a quadrant 2 focus, which is the heart of this habit, is a paradigm that grows out of a principal center.
Okay, so the focus on important, not urgent stuff comes from having those principles.
Yes, that's the crucial link. When your priorities genuinely flow from that principal center, from your personal mission, when they're deeply planted in your heart and in your mind, then quadrant 2 doesn't feel like a chore anymore.
It becomes something you want to do.
Exactly. You see, quadrant 2 is a natural, exciting place to invest your time because it directly connects to who you are and what you truly care about. Self-discipline stops being a struggle against yourself and becomes a natural expression of yourself.
That sounds much more sustainable and much less exhausting.
It creates this internal alignment, this congruence that's really powerful. It feeds itself.
Okay, so having this principal center, this bigger yes, as Covey calls it, makes saying no easier because that's hard. Saying no to distractions demands. My phone alone is a constant battleground of quadrants 3 and 4.
It makes it infinitely easier. The source really emphasizes this. It's almost impossible to say no to the popularity of quadrant 3 or to the pleasure of escape to quadrant 4 if you don't have a bigger yes burning inside.
Without that, why? The distractions win.
They do. They feel irresistible. Think about a notification, a quick scroll, that tempting email. They feel urgent or popular, but they're rarely important in the grand scheme. If your inner vision is weak or absent, these external things just rush in to fill the void.
Like nature abhorring a vacuum?
Kind of, yeah. It's only when you have self-awareness, the ability to really see your patterns, understand what's driving your choices, and you use your imagination and conscience to create a new, unique, principle-centered program to which you can say yes. Only then do you gain sufficient independent willpower to say no with a genuine smile to the unimportant.
With a genuine smile, not feeling deprived?
Exactly, because you know what you're saying yes to. This is really the core of turning values into daily action. If your bigger yes is, say, building a strong family connection,
Right.
and saying no to that optional late-night work email so you can have meaningful time with your kids isn't a sacrifice. It's a joyful choice aligned with your principles.
Or saying no to hours of mindless scrolling because your yes is launching that side project you're passionate about.
Precisely. It stops feeling like deprivation and starts feeling like empowerment. It's a proactive choice from clarity, not a reactive struggle against temptation.
Okay, this is really clicking. Management follows leadership. The quadrant 2, imperative. This feels like, as they say, where the rubber meets the road.
It really is.
We talked about vision, beginning with the end in mind in habit 2. Now it feels like we're talking about actually making it real, bringing it down to earth.
You nailed it. Covey uses that great architectural analogy. Form follows function.
Right.
Likewise, he says, management follows leadership. What that means is how you manage your time, the structure of your day, your schedule. That's a direct result of how you see your time and priorities. Your leadership defines the what and why. Your management is the how.
So good management flows from good leadership.
Exactly. True management, effective execution, has to align with true leadership, which is defining those first things, your core values, your purpose. If your leadership is fuzzy, If you haven't clearly defined your end in mind,
Then your management will be all over the place.
scattered, reactive, ineffective, like a team project where the leader hasn't set clear goals, people get busy, maybe work hard, but they're working on the wrong things, or just reacting to the latest email. That's fuzzy leadership leading to chaotic management.
Okay, so for effective personal management, for really leading our lives, what are these first things we need to prioritize? What goes into that crucial bucket that isn't just busy work?
The source is emphatic about this. Quadrant 2 activities are clearly the heart of effective personal management.
Okay, define those again. Important, but
Important, but not urgent. This is the key. We get so pulled by urgency quadrant first or the third that we neglect these crucial quadrant 2 tasks.
and these are the things that build long-term success.
Exactly. They build success, nurture relationships, enhance well-being. Think concrete examples.
Hmm?
Strategic planning for your career or business, proactive health stuff, exercise, checkups.
Prevention.
Yes, prevention. Building new opportunities, networking, learning new skills. Personal development, reading, learning, reflection.
Quality time with family and friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dedicated, focused time. Not just being in the same room. Even creative pursuits that recharge you. These are all investments.
Investments that pay off later.
Huge dividends later. But because they aren't screaming for attention now, they're often the first things jettisoned when life gets busy.
Yeah, I feel that. So many of us live in that constant crisis mode, just bouncing from fire to fire. My inbox is a perfect example of quadrant and that they're shouting all day.
It's exhausting, isn't it?
Totally. So how does focusing deliberately on quadrant 2 help break that cycle? How do we escape the tyranny of the urgent?
Well, by proactively investing time and energy in quadrant 2, you actually start to shrink quadrant 1.
Ah, so doing the important, not urgent stuff reduces the amount of urgent, important stuff later.
Precisely. It's preventative. It's being effective, not just efficient at reacting.
Hmm.
Think about car maintenance, that's quadrant 2.
Right, regular oil changes.
If you do that, you drastically reduce the chance of a major breakdown on the highway, which is quadrant 1.
Okay, good analogy.
Same in work. If you invest in clear communication, team building, proactive planning, quadrant 2, you'll have fewer urgent misunderstandings, missed deadlines, crises, quadrant 3.
So you're building resilience. Fireproofing, not just firefighting.
That's a great way to put it. You're fireproofing your life. It allows you to breathe, think strategically, make real progress instead of just treading water.
Okay. This makes it clear why those traditional time management tools might fall short. Many seem focused on just helping me cram more stuff in faster, not necessarily the right stuff.
That's a really astute point. The source actually walks through this evolution of time management approaches, these generations, and it shows why most don't quite get you to that principle-centered quadrant 2 way of living.
Okay, I'm curious. Tell me about these generations. What was generation 1? Sticky notes?
Pretty much. First generation is the basics, notes and to-do lists. You just scribble things down and cross them off.
Feels good temporarily.
It does.
Ah.
A temporary sense of accomplishment, but crucially, no priority attached to items and no correlation between what's on the list and our ultimate values and purposes.
So just reactive, going with the flow.
Completely reactive. Low effectiveness, low sense of control. People in this mode often feel kind of pushed around by life.
Okay, makes sense. What about generation 2? How did that improve things?
Second generation brought in more control. Think calendars, appointment books. Managers started to plan and schedule in advance.
So looking ahead a bit more.
Right. People using these tools are seen as more responsible because they show up when expected. It's a step up in organization, definitely. More order.
But still maybe missing the why.
Often, yes. It can still be about efficiently moving through scheduled items rather than ensuring the right items are on the schedule in the first place, linked to your core principles. You might be great at hitting your appointments, but are they the right appointments for your long-term vision?
Gotcha. And then generation 3, this sounds like where most modern tools live. Digital calendars, task apps.
Exactly. Most popular planning tools today are third generation. They focus heavily on daily planning, prioritizing activities for the day, setting deadlines, maybe assigning urgency levels.
They seem pretty sophisticated.
They are, and they may help you prioritize your activities. But here's the limitation Covey points out. They basically only help you organize crises and busy work.
Ouch. So they make you better at juggling the urgent, but don't necessarily shift your focus.
That's the core insight. They optimize your handling of quadrants 3 and 3, but don't inherently pull you towards quadrant 2. And this leads to that critical distinction. The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities.
Say that again. That feels important.
The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities.
Wow. Okay, schedule the important stuff first. Block out time for quadrant 2 before the schedule fills up with urgent demands.
Precisely. Third-generation tools often leave you prioritizing after the schedule's already packed. They help you climb the ladder faster, but don't help you check if it's against the right wall.
That's a powerful image. So it's a mindset shift first. But if we want tools to support this fourth-generation, principle-centered approach, what should they look like? What capabilities do they need?
Right. The tool needs to facilitate the mindset. The source outlines several key requirements for a tool or system that truly supports Quadrant 2 living.
Okay, what's first?
First is coherence. It needs to foster harmony, unity, and integrity between all the levels. Your mission, your roles, your goals, your plans, even your desires and discipline.
So everything connects.
Everything connects. Imagine your planner prominently features your personal mission statement. Then your key roles, parent, manager, friend, self. Then your goals stemming from those roles. A coherent tool makes those links visible, so your daily tasks clearly connect back to the bigger picture.
Like a personal dashboard for your life's purpose. Stops you getting lost in the daily grind.
Exactly. Keeps the destination in view. Second is balance. The tool must help you identify and keep balance in your life, keeping all your various roles right in front of you.
Because it's easy to let one area take over everything else.
So easy. We neglect critical areas like health, your family, professional preparation, or personal development when work gets demanding, for example. And the text really challenges that idea that success in one area compensates for failure elsewhere.
Right, that question, can professional success make up for a broken marriage or ruined health?
It's a stark question, but vital. True effectiveness demands balance. So the tool needs to help you see all your roles, maybe visually allocate time or attention to each, like sections for family, career, health, personal growth.
Ensures nothing critical falls completely off the radar. Okay, what's next?
Third, a strong Quadrant 2 focus. The tool itself needs to encourage you, motivate you, actually help you spend the time you need in Quadrant 2.
So it's not just a blank slate waiting for urgent tasks?
Right. It should actively prompt you to identify and schedule your important, non-urgent activities first. Imagine a planner with a dedicated weekly section for my QII priorities that you fill out before anything else.
It actively pulls you toward the important. I like that.
It combats the tyranny of the urgent, which leads to the fourth element, weekly organization.
Planning by the week, not just the day.
Yes. The source argues this is the best way to do this. A week provides much greater balance and context than daily planning.
A day can get derailed so easily.
Exactly. A week is a more complete unit of time. It aligns with natural rhythms, allows for focused work blocks and flexibility and renewal, like the idea of a Sabbath or weekend reset. Daily planning often just optimizes crisis management. Weekly planning lets you see the bigger picture and proactively schedule those crucial Quadrant 2 blocks.
See the forest, not just the trees. That makes sense. But life involves people, and people aren't tasks on a list. They're unpredictable.
Absolutely critical point. Which brings us to the fifth requirement, a people dimension. An effective tool must deal with people, not just schedules.
Effectiveness with people, not just efficiency with time.
Precisely. A principle-centered person understands that sometimes subordination of schedules to people is necessary. Relationships, supporting someone in need, these are often high-leverage Quadrant 2 activities.
So the tool shouldn't make you feel guilty if a human interaction disrupts the plan.
Exactly. It should facilitate implementation rather than create guilt. It needs built-in flexibility to prioritize human connection when that's the most important thing, without making you feel like a failure for deviating from the checklist.
That's huge. Guilt is such a demotivator. The tool should serve you.
Which leads perfectly to number 6, flexibility. Your planning tool should be your servant, never your master. It has to be adaptable, tailored to your style, your needs, your particular ways.
No one size fits all.
Nope. Digital, analog, simple, complex, it needs to work for you. And finally, 7th, portability.
Gotta have it with you.
Yeah, practical, but important. It should be portable so that you can carry it with you most of the time. Lets you review your mission, check your plans, evaluate opportunities on the fly, keep your principles top of mind wherever you are.
Okay, that paints a really clear picture of what effective principle-centered planning looks like.
It's a holistic approach.
And this whole focus on quadrant 2 on principles, it really feels like the heart of the private victory, doesn't it? Getting your own act together internally first?
Absolutely. It's completely intertwined. The source explicitly says the self-mastery you gain from these habits, especially Harish, habits 1, 2, and 3 working together, provides the source of intrinsic security you need for the social dimensions of life.
Intrinsic security. That means feeling solid inside, regardless of external stuff.
Exactly. A deep sense of self-worth, confidence, peace that isn't dependent on validation or circumstances. And that internal strength, that security born from living your values, is the essential foundation for effective relationships.
Because without it, you're maybe defensive or needy or trying to control things.
Precisely. You operate from ego, fear, a need for approval. But with that intrinsic security, you can engage with others from a place of strength and authenticity.
Which then naturally leads into the public victory side of things, interacting effectively with others.
Yes, that's the flow. Private victory is the foundation for public victory. The source connects it directly. The social-emotional dimension focuses on habits 4, 5, and 6.
Which are?
Think win-win, habit 4, seek first to understand, then to be understood, habit 5, and synergize, habit 6. These are all about interpersonal leadership, empathy, creative cooperation.
And you need that inner security to practice those effectively.
You absolutely do. That personal security, which comes from having accurate paradigms and correct principles deep in our own mind and heart, gives you the strength to practice the habits of public victory and, crucially, to embrace the abundance mentality.
Ah, the abundance mentality. Believing there's enough for everyone.
Yes, enough success, credit, happiness. It fosters collaboration, not competition. If you're secure inside private victory, you aren't threatened by others' success. You can genuinely seek win-win outcomes and celebrate collective achievements.
Whereas if you're insecure,
You operate from a scarcity mentality. You believe life is a zero-sum game. If they win, you lose. That leads to defensiveness, unhealthy competition, trying to undermine others.
so mastering put first things first isn't just about personal productivity. It's fundamentally about building the character needed for healthy, effective relationships too.
It's the bedrock for both self-mastery and effective interdependence. It allows you to listen openly, cooperate creatively, and build trust.
Wow. Okay, wrapping this up then. Put first things first is clearly way more than just managing your calendar.
And much more.
It's about consciously, deliberately weaving your deepest values, your core vision, into the fabric of your daily life. It's the execution arm of personal leadership.
Beautifully put. It's making what's most important also urgent to you through intentional, principle-driven choices. It's true self-leadership.
And it's about that shift, isn't it? Moving from constantly reacting to the urgent.
To proactively creating the life you envision. Consistently investing your precious time and energy in what truly matters in the long run. That discipline, the kind that comes from your principles, empowers you to lead your life rather than feeling like life or your schedule or other people's demands are leading you.
It's moving from being lived to truly living, being the architect.
One quadrant 2 choice at a time.
So, as you listening reflect on your own life, maybe that feeling of overwhelm or that treadmill to-do list, here's something to think about.
What single quadrant 2 activity, just one, if you committed to doing it consistently this week, would make the biggest positive difference to your long-term goals, your well-being?
Maybe it's strategy time for your business. Maybe it's dedicated, uninterrupted time with your partner or kids. Maybe it's finally starting that exercise routine or just 15 minutes of quiet reflection each morning.
Just pick one thing, that important, not urgent thing, and then the crucial step. Schedule it. Block out the time in your week right now if you can.
And as you do that, ask yourself, what's the bigger yes? What core value or vision makes saying no to the inevitable distractions feel not like a sacrifice, but like an affirmation?
Try it. Observe what happens. Notice that feeling of taking back control, of moving towards mastery.
That's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks so much for joining us as we continue unpacking these powerful habits. We hope it's given you some useful insights and maybe some practical steps for your own journey.
Until next time, keep digging deeper.